Who controls your life? Are you following someone else's script? Or maybe you are the author of your own story. In a world where we are bombarded with messages about who to be, what to like, and how to live, the question is, what does it mean to truly live for yourself? It's revolutionary. Today, we will not only talk about how to survive in this chaotic world. Today, we will not only talk about how to survive in this chaotic world. We will consider how to thrive, drawing on the wisdom of Friedrich Nietzsche, intertwined with the timeless principles of Stoicism. We will discover the power to create our own path, trust our own voice, and find the courage to live in accordance with our deepest values. So if you're ready to challenge the status quo and discover a more authentic way of living, stay with us. Let's dive into some of the most provocative philosophical ideas that promise to change not only the way you think, but also the way you live every day. If you appreciate diving into these transformative ideas with us, let me ask you for a simple, free favor. Click the subscribe button and don't skip any part of the video, because just like the philosophy of nature, it teaches us to stand out from the crowd. This call to individualism is not just about making a statement or being different for the sake of being different. It is about the deep need to align our actions with our deepest beliefs and values. It's a challenge to live authentically in a world that often puts uniformity first. When we talk about not following the herd, what we're really talking about is the courage to make personal choices that aren't always there in line with common expectations. This may be as important as the choice of an unconventional career path, or as everyday as preferring walking or cycling to driving, despite the convenience of a car. Nature's challenge is to ask ourselves, why do we do what we do? Do we act based on our personal beliefs, or do we simply follow the pattern imposed by society? Stoic philosophers such as Marcus Aurelius emphasized similar themes. Aurelius said the purpose of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to avoid being among the mad. This aptly reflects the Stoic ideal of living in accordance with reason and not falling into the madness of crowd behavior. It encourages us to find our own way, guided by rational thinking and personal integrity. This concept is deeply rooted in the tradition of Western philosophy. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, spent his life questioning the prevailing norms of Athenian society, famously arguing that a life without reflection is not worth living. His approach was not one of opposition for the sake of opposition, but of seeking a different actions. Like nature, he believed in the importance of self-knowledge as the path to true knowledge and right living. Plato developed this line of thought by illustrating how easy it is to be deceived by the illusions perpetuated by society. In his allegory of the cave, he describes prisoners who mistake the shadows on the wall for reality because they have never seen the outside world. When one of the prisoners escapes and sees the world as it really is, he realizes that what the pack believes is often far from the truth. This allegory is a stark reminder of the dangers of conformity without questioning, and emphasizes the liberation that comes from seeking truth, even when it goes against nature. Psychological perspectives also emphasize the value of not following the herd. Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist, argued for the development of individuality through the process of individuation, stating that the privilege of life is to become who you truly are. This process involves differentiating yourself from collective norms and expectations in order to achieve personal fulfillment and authenticity. By choosing not to follow the herd, we not only define our identity more clearly, but we also contribute to our communities in unique ways. Each person who dares to live authentically offers a different perspective, enriching the diversity of thoughts and lifestyles available to others. It's not just about personal gain. It's about enriching the collective human experience. Let us remember the words of Epictetus, "If you want to be a writer, write." This simple directive reminds us that to live authentically, we must actively engage in practices that reflect our true selves, not just nurture them as private thoughts or aspirations. Our true selves, and not just cultivate them as private thoughts or aspirations. Whether it's a career choice, a lifestyle choice, or even a way of thinking, moving away from the herd is not only a path to personal authenticity, it is a journey towards a meaningful life. Second, trust your opinion. Nature's admonition to rid ourselves of the distaste associated with wanting to agree with many tells us to cultivate our own judgments rather than defer to popular opinions. It is not about rejecting the views of others, but about developing a strong, independent perspective based on our own reasoning and critical thinking. Based on our own reasoning and critical thinking. The concept of trust in one's own opinion fits perfectly into the teachings of Stoic philosophy, which highly values independence in judgment and action. Marcus Aurelius often emphasizes the importance of being faithful to one's own rational mind. He wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is perspective, not truth." This highlights the Stoic belief that our perceptions and opinions are shaped by our interpretations, not objective reality. That's why we have to be meticulous in analyzing and trusting these insights. Stoicism teaches that wisdom and virtue come from within. This includes forming and trusting your own opinions. Epictetus emphasizes the point of self-denial by stating that it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. He encouraged his followers to constantly question their own beliefs and remain open to learning and self-correction. This is what trusting your own opinion is all about. The point is not that it should never change, but that it should be shaped through personal reflection and conscious thought. The principle of trust in one's own opinion is also reflected in the wider world Western philosophical tradition. Socrates, whose method of rigorous questioning laid the foundations under Western thought, believed that true knowledge and ethical life begin from examining your own beliefs. His practice of questioning everything was intended not only to question the world, but also to encourage individuals to reflect deeply on their own assumptions and beliefs. Aristotle also spoke about the necessity of having one's own judgment in his Nicomachean Ethics, where he discussed the concept of finesse from practical wisdom. Finesse with practical wisdom. He described this virtue as the ability to act with the best end in mind based on one's own rational considerations. According to Aristotle, true wisdom lies in self-trust rational abilities to discern the appropriate course of action in complex situations. They trust their own ability to overcome difficulties, which is a fundamental value that nature and the Stoics strive for. Trust your own reasoning above the noise of the crowd. Trusting your own opinion is not only a way to confirm your individuality, but a fundamental aspect of leading a reasonable and ethical life. It's about developing the self-confidence to stand by our beliefs even when they are more aligned with our true selves, but also more resilient and able to navigate life's complexities with integrity and wisdom. Third, seek knowledge. This pursuit is not just about gathering facts, but involves a deep, ongoing commitment to understanding the world around us and our place in it. Engaging in this constant search for wisdom can profoundly shape our lives, improving our decision-making and enriching our lives' experiences. Nature is famous for encouraging us to question everything, to never settle for simple answers, and to always strive for deeper understanding. He perceived knowledge as a tool for self-realization, a way to create a life that reflects our truest selves. Similarly, Stoics such as Seneca taught that learning was a lifelong process. Seneca once wrote, "While you live, learn how to live." This reflects the Stoic belief that the pursuit of knowledge is essential to the development of virtue and personal perfection. For the Stoics, knowledge was not merely theoretical. She was extremely practical. The knowledge was not merely theoretical. She was extremely practical. They believed that understanding the nature of the world and human behavior could lead to better self-control and emotional resilience. This type of knowledge helps us navigate life's challenges and uncertainties with grace and wisdom. Learning about different philosophies, scientific discoveries, and even art, we gain insight into how well to live, which is the essence of Stoicism teaching. What's more, self-searching for knowledge encourages us to stay curious and open-minded. It consists of reading widely, not only books that confirm our current views, but also those that challenge them. This means engaging in conversations and debates that move us forward and broaden our perspectives. It also means discovering new cultures and traditions that can teach us about the many ways of being in the world, revealing not only the diversity of human life, but also shared values and struggles. This pursuit is also inherently about self-discovery. By striving to understand the world, we begin to understand ourselves better. Each new knowledge acts like a mirror, reflecting parts of ourselves that we might not have recognized before. It challenges our assumptions, tests our beliefs, and sometimes changes our goals. This introspective journey is crucial both for natural philosophy and Stoic practice. It's about building a life that not only knows the world, but knows itself. To incorporate this principle into our daily lives is to make learning a habit. It can be as simple as reading every day, listening to educational podcasts, or taking courses on topics that intrigue us. It also means actively participating in the life of our communities and the world, seeking experiences that broaden our horizons and deepen our understanding. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus emphasizes the importance of putting into practice what we learn. Don't just say you've read the books. Show that thanks to them, you have learned to think better, to become a more insightful and reflective person. Books are training weights for the mind. This emphasizes that knowledge should not only be acquired, but also apply. It's not enough to know more. We have to use what we know to live a better and fuller life. By committing to continuous learning, we equip ourselves with the tools needed to make informed decisions, develop deeper compassion, and live more meaningful lives. In fact, each knowledge you acquire is a milestone on the way to becoming the architect of your own destiny, shaping a life that is both conscious and insightful. Fourth, live dangerously. This concept does not necessarily involve physical danger. It's more about the psychological and emotional risks of stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about having the courage to be different, to question the status quo and take action, and the emotional risk that comes with stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about having the courage to be different, to question the status quo, and to take action that may disrupt our current sense of security, but ultimately lead to a richer, more authentic life. This idea resonates deeply with Stoic philosophy, which teaches that development often requires perseverance in overcoming difficulties. Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius believed that life's challenges were opportunities to practice virtues such as courage and resilience. He wrote that an obstacle to action pushes action forward. What stands in the way becomes the way, and on the road it becomes a road. This attitude encourages us to face challenges, considering them as paths to personal development and self-discovery. Living in danger in this sense involves making choices which may seem daunting, but have the potential to significantly enrich our lives. This may mean leaving a stable but unsatisfying job to pursue a passion that offers less security but more satisfaction. This may mean moving to a new city or country to experience different cultures and perspectives, or even starting a new project or business that will test our skills and push our boundaries. The key here is the willingness to accept uncertainty. Uncertainty often reflects our deepest fears and insecurities, but it also opens the door to new opportunities. By entering the unknown, we learn more about our possibilities, limitations, and ways to overcome them. This process isn't just about taking risks for the sake of it. It's about calculated risks that are consistent with our deepest values and aspirations. Moreover, living in danger is consistent with the Stoic practice of premeditating evil, a technique in which you visualize potential challenges and setbacks in order to mentally prepare for them. This practice not only prepares us to deal with difficulties, it also reduces the fear of the unknown, making it easier to take bold steps forward. Taking risks also comes with a deep sense of self-trust. Trust that we can handle the consequences of our actions, that we can adapt and learn, and that we are resilient enough to bounce back if things don't go to plan. It is about cultivating a strong inner life that is resistant to external fluctuations, a fundamental principle of both Nietzsche's philosophy and Stoicism. Ultimately, living in danger is about choosing growth over comfort. It's about realizing that a safe life can be satisfying in the short term, but it does not necessarily lead to true fulfillment or self-actualization. It encourages us to ask ourselves if we are being true to our potential, or do we simply follow paths set by others' expectations and social norms? So when we talk about living in danger, it is not a question of light-hearted devotion, but about thoughtful, purposeful actions that challenge us to develop and broaden our horizons. It's about making life choices that reflect not only who we are, but also who we want to become. These choices, while intimidating, are what make life truly vibrant and meaningful. Fifth, spending time alone. It is a profound invitation to break away from the constant struggle of clarity and originality that can emerge from loneliness. It's not about isolation, but about creating conscious moments of silence that foster deeper self-awareness and insight. The Stoics also saw great value in solitude. They practiced it not as a way to permanently isolate themselves from the world, but as a means of strengthening character and virtues. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of digging deep into one's soul to find peace and perspective. Peace and perspective. He viewed these moments of solitude as crucial to reconnecting with his principles and maintaining balance amidst the chaos of life. Solitude offers a unique kind of freedom. It frees us from the influence of others' opinions, social pressure, and the constant noise of modern life. When alone, you can listen to your thoughts without any interruptions. Examine your deepest beliefs and challenge long-held assumptions. This state of solitary concentration is essential for personal development. It allows us to acknowledge our thoughts and emotions, distinguishing which are truly ours and which have been imposed on us by outside forces. Moreover, spending time alone gives us space to reflect on the direction of our lives. Do we pursue goals that are truly important to us, or do we follow paths set by others? By removing ourselves from external influences, we can assess the trajectory of our lives with greater clarity and course-correct when necessary. This reflective practice is not just about re-evaluating, but about retuning to our most authentic selves. The benefits of solitude also extend to emotional health. In solitude, we can process our experiences, soothe emotional wounds, and gain strength. Seneca advocated moments of silence as a way to strengthen the spirit and prepare for both the hardships and joys of life and joy of life. He understood that solitude can be a source of great strength and stability. allowing individuals to return to socializing refreshed and more resilient. However, accepting loneliness is not without its challenges. In today's hyper-connected world, it can get lonely at times cause discomfort or even anxiety. We may fear that we're missing out or feel guilty for taking time for ourselves. However, the Stoics argue that these inconveniences are the reason why solitude is necessary. It teaches us how to be comfortable in our own company and rely less on external approval. It teaches us how to be comfortable in our own company and rely less on external approval. When practicing solitude, it is important to view it as a conscious exercise in self-care and self-reflection. Whether it's long walks, meditation, journaling, or just sitting quietly without distractions, these practices can help us cultivate a deeper, more meaningful relationship with ourselves. Over time, this relationship builds a foundation of inner strength and wisdom that influences all other aspects of our lives. So let's take to heart the advice of nature and the Stoics to seek solitude not as a way to cut yourself off from the world, but as a way to connect more deeply with yourself, so that when you return to the hustle and bustle and the demands of everyday life, do so with greater clarity, purpose, and personal integrity. Sixth, find your meaning. Stoic philosophy holds that true fulfillment is achieved by living a life consistent with reason and virtue. For Stoics, like Epictetus, it is not external evils or circumstances that give value to life, but how we respond to them. He teaches that people are disturbed not by things, but by the views they hold about them. This idea suggests that meaning is not something we find or are given to us, but something we create within ourselves through our perceptions and actions. When searching for our own meaning, we engage in an active selection process and interpretation of our experiences. It involves defining what is truly important to us and adapting our actions to these values. This pursuit is dynamic and ongoing as our understanding of ourselves and our aspirations evolves over time. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius reflected this when he noted that little was needed to live a happy life. Everything is within us in our way of thinking. Here, Aurelius emphasizes the inner nature of true happiness and meaning. They result from our attitudes and decisions. Moreover, finding personal meaning requires an honest assessment of our deepest beliefs and committing to live in harmony with them. It requires an honest assessment of our deepest beliefs and a commitment to live in accordance with them. Sometimes this can mean solitude, as natural philosophy often requires. It requires courage to forge your own path and the perseverance to follow it despite challenges and opposition. The search for meaning also requires a balance between personal desires and the larger context of our lives. Seneca emphasizes the importance of contributing to society as part of a meaningful life. He argued that, while it is crucial to focus on personal virtue and integrity, life becomes more meaningful when one is part of a community and contributes to the common good. Today, psychologists such as Viktor Frankl point out that meaning can be found even though this choice reflects the Stoic principle of focusing on our internal reactions rather than external events. To begin this journey of meaning, start by asking yourself introspective questions. What are my core values? What brings me joy and fulfillment? How do I want to be remembered? Reflecting on these questions may help explain what is really important and focus taken choices and commitments you make. Finding meaning. Much of life is about weaving your personal narrative into the decisions you make every day. It's about creating a life that reflects your unique identity, values, and purpose. It is a deeply personal process that is constantly evolving, offering a sense of fulfillment and direction to your life's journey. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and philosophical exploration here at. Remember, The path to finding the meaning of life is unique, marked by your choices, lived through your actions. Constantly question, evolve, and, most importantly, live your values. Constantly question, grow, and, most importantly, live your values. Now that you've made it to the end, share your thoughts with us in the comments. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. See you soon.